Located in Kansas City, Missouri, the Liberty Memorial is one of the city's most prominent landmarks. Built almost 100 years ago, it serves as the national symbol of World War I. It has not always been held in such high esteem. At times, it has been forgotten, a relic of a war long passed into memory. Its existence today is a testament to the ideals it embodies and to the tragedy that inspired it. The Liberty Memorial was conceived in the last days of World War I, 3 days before the armistice was signed in 1918. A Kansas City newspaper editorial asked the city to create a monument to honor the American soldiers who had died overseas. Spurred on by immense public patriotism, the City Council created the Liberty Memorial Association to manage the project. It was composed of Kansas City elites, including lumber magnate R.A. Long and real estate developer J.C. Nichols among its members. After deciding to create a monument with an attached museum, the association began fundraising to generate the cash necessary to construct it. Thanks to generous donations from association members and an enthusiastic public, they succeeded in collecting $2,517,000 by the end of the 10-day campaign, $17,000 more than their initial $2.5 million goal. Next came the decision of where to place the memorial. After some deliberation, the association decided to place it on an undeveloped hill in front of the city's bustling Union Station. Finally, the association held a national contest in 1920 to determine who would be the memorial's architect. Of the 11 finalists, New York architect Harold Van Buren McGonagall's dramatic renderings of a shaft atop a high wall were seen as the best, earning him unanimous approval as the monument's architect. The memorial site was dedicated on Armistice Day in 1921. Over 100,000 spectators attended the ceremony. A few brave souls even dared to perch on Union Station's roof to have a better view. All 5 Allied commanders, including Missouri native General John J. Pershing, were among the numerous dignitaries present, as was Vice President Calvin Coolidge. A year later, McGonigal began translating his concept drawings into building plans for the memorial. High construction costs forced him to scale back his original proposal, resulting in a smaller but still impressive design. Construction began in 1923, and the memorial and attached museum, though still technically unfinished, officially opened 3 years later on Armistice Day in 1926. Coolidge, now president, again attended, reminding everyone about the memorial's role as a symbol of sacrifice and peace during his address. The finished Liberty Memorial was as impressive as it was timeless. The monument's north wall was smooth and, like the rest of the memorial, clad in limestone paneling. Atop the wall was the memorial court, which held the 2 halls that comprised the museum and the memorial's centerpiece, the shaft. Towering 217 feet over the court, it was topped by an observation gallery and 4 limestone guardians, symbolizing sacrifice, courage, patriotism, and honor. At its base, the dedication in honor of those who served in the World War in defense of liberty and our country was inscribed. The south entrance to the court was flanked by 2 sphinxes with their wings veiling their eyes, representing the spirits of memory and future respectively. In 1935, an addition was added to the north wall, a 148-foot-long frieze, over which was inscribed, "These have dared bear torches of sacrifice and service. Their bodies return to dust, but their work liveth forevermore. Let us strive on to do all which may achieve and cherish a just and lasting peace amongst ourselves and with all nations." It was a touching sentiment. Unfortunately, not everyone wanted peace. Pearl Harbor and America's entry into World War II in 1941 caused some reversals in the memorial's fortunes. The lights that created the flame on top of the pillar were temporarily shut down for fear of air raids. The smoke that billowed from the pillar at night was also stopped in order to conserve fuel. The city even tried to close the observation deck, but after veterans groups objected, it reversed its decision. Despite these changes, the memorial remained a popular tourist attraction for Kansas City during the war. The numerous trains that passed through Union Station brought a large surge in visitors, most of whom were military personnel who would walk over from Union Station while waiting for their trains to arrive. However, the war also caused maintenance funding for the memorial to be cut, and deterioration began to set in. In 1961, the city decided to rededicate the memorial on Veterans Day, causing a resurgence in public interest. It was refurbished in preparation for the ceremony, with updates to the tower's steam vents and the cleanup of the monument's limestone cladding taking precedence. Many dignitaries attended the event, including President Harry S. Truman, who talked about his experiences in the First World War during his off-the-cuff address. Unfortunately, the restoration was a superficial solution that failed to realize, let alone address, long-term damage that was happening due to poor maintenance. As time continued to pass, the Liberty Memorial's future looked increasingly grim. Public interest again waned. By the 1980s, the site had a reputation for being unsafe at night, with multiple attacks, deaths, and arrests occurring on the memorial grounds. The secluded drive south of the memorial was a popular hangout location for gay Kansas Cityans, and many of the attacks were homophobic in nature. However, an equal number targeted straight individuals as well. By 1989, the city was closing the drive after 7 p.m., hoping the lack of convenient parking would reduce the number of incidents. The low point came in 1994, when the memorial drew immense public scrutiny after a man successfully committed suicide by jumping from the top of the memorial shaft. Kansas City, attempting to again restore the monument's appearance, conducted an inspection of the memorial structure. It revealed that the monument's structural integrity was failing due to years of poor conservation and neglect. The damage was extensive and needed to be repaired. Unable to afford the expense, the city closed the memorial to the public. Fortunately, the closure caused a renewed interest in preserving the memorial and its meaning as a monument to peace and the war dead. To make preservation possible, the city proposed a temporary tax increase in 1998, which was expected to raise $45 million. $30 million would be used to fund the memorial's restoration and expansion, with the remaining $15 million being used to establish an endowment for continued maintenance. The measure passed, raising $45.5 million before its expiration in 2000. The funds, combined with private donations and state and federal funding, allowed the new and expanded World War I Museum and Liberty Memorial to open to national acclaim in 2006. Today, the Liberty Memorial enjoys both funding and support as a U.S. National Historic Landmark. Once forgotten, it now enjoys acclaim nationwide, having been redesignated the National World War I Museum and Memorial in 2014. Though created almost 100 years ago, the Liberty Memorial still stands today, a monument to peace and to those who died to achieve it.